I still remember the first time that I saw Dragon Ball on TV. It was on this giant 50-inch TV, and yes, back then 50-inch TVs were as big as they got, and I was this 6-year-old little boy sitting in front of this giant 50-inch television that was just like old school television with the best surround sound at the time. And I remember switching it to Cartoon Network and then seeing my favorite move in all of Dragon Ball, which is Special Beam Cannon. And I think it's my favorite because it's the first thing that got seared into my mind in kind of what this was. And I still remember the colors and the amazing Chris Sabat line of Special Beam Cannon and the surround sound blazing around me. And from that moment on, I was a completely different person in my expectations in animation and entertainment in total. And I was kind of privileged because I had cable, which Cartoon Network at the time kind of had a flag of the revolution of entertainment in animation with anime and bringing a lot of those shows here and getting a lot of the dubs as well. And I was also privileged because I lived on the border and got to see a lot of the shows in Spanish dub, which has a special place in my heart, and also got to see a lot of the things that weren't released here yet. And for that reason, Mexico and Hispanics have a strong bond when it comes to Akira Toriyama and Dragon Ball and all his works and everything that he does. But for me personally, I got burned out when I was 2. I think that's kind of obvious, but it's also obvious that I was in the hospital a lot, and especially in my teenage years. And there was Dragon Ball leading the flag of the revolution of anime on Toonami and in Mexico and in the United States as a whole, little by little, and kind of started this whole blow up of anime that we're seeing now. Back in the day, there was no network but Cartoon Network that was exploiting the amazing revolution that it was in animation. Back in the mid-90s, there was no other network, there was no streaming services, there was none of that. There was nobody fighting over which anime was going to be on what platform because nobody really cared. And if it weren't for Dragon Ball and if it weren't for Toonami, we really would have never had the explosion of anime that we have right now. And for that reason, Akira Toriyama, in my book, is the GOAT when it comes to manga. I know that word gets thrown around a lot, and I know that word gets used to describe almost everything that people like a lot, but truly, Akira Toriyama is the GOAT because for the things that he did and the things that he did to revolutionize anime in total and entertainment as we know it are kind of not really heard of as much as it is with him. Not only did he revolutionize entertainment and animation and anime and having that explosion worldwide, but especially in the United States, but he also changed the art style of a lot of things that we know now. Chrono Trigger was one of the places that he started with his art style, and Chrono Trigger is considered one of the greatest games of all time, and one of the things that sticks out from that game is the art style. And if you see that art style, it's very similar to what Dragon Ball looks like. His style kind of has defined the spiky-haired individual that we see in almost every anime now that kind of has an homage to Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. If it weren't for Dragon Ball, we wouldn't have had the revolution that we have in the United States when it comes to anime in total. Not only was he revolutionizing, but I think a lot of people get the misconception that Akira Toriyama was lazy because of the way he currently is. But Akira Toriyama in his prime was an absolute stallion of a workhorse. Not only did this man overlook the anime and work at the manga at the same time, but he oversaw all the video games that had to do with Dragon Ball so that way they could be accurate to what he wanted. So all the Dragon Ball games that you know of, more than likely Akira Toriyama was working on them at the same time that he was working on the manga and overseeing the anime. And it's not far-fetched to say that we more than likely will never get another Akira Toriyama. while we will get people that are talented and know what they're doing and are workhorses as well, the truth of the matter is that the landscape, the way that it was changed with Akira Toriyama and his story, will never happen again, and we will sorely miss him and his works. See you later in the afterlife, sir. Thank you for your contribution in entertainment. If you have a comment that you want to put in the comment section of how Akira Toriyama kind of impacted you in the way you saw anime, or the way, just a nice story of what you first saw Dragon Ball, comment in the comment section. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know what you guys think. And remember, you are pretty good.